First, you want to turn your heat to about medium-high, nice big pot just like this one. Start by just adding about a teaspoon or so of oil. As I said before, not a super healthy food, even olive oil, so we just want to keep it minimal. So let's see here, a little bit of water here. Once we get that nice and hot, we will add about a half of an onion that's been roughly chopped. You can do yellow or white onion, it doesn't matter, they're both great. Just want to get a little bit of color on the onion, saute it until the edges start to turn a little bit of brown. Now you'll see in a lot of my recipes on audreydenham.com that I use a lot of onion powder to try and take shortcuts whenever I can. I'm all about keeping things as convenient as possible, but sometimes there's nothing that replaces a true, real onion. If you haven't checked out my video on the best way to chop an onion, please do so. It makes life so much easier. Just want to saute for about 5 minutes or so. The onion is looking pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. All right, about 4 cups of broccoli going in. Next, we have some garlic powder here. You can use fresh garlic if you like, but 1 or 2 cloves, but I'm gonna take a little shortcut here and use some garlic powder, about a half a teaspoon. Salt and pepper. We need about 1 full teaspoon of salt. Unless you want a low sodium, you can do less. And only about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Little goes a long way. And lastly, we have spinach. You can do frozen spinach if you like. You can do 1 full cup of frozen spinach or 1 giant handful of fresh spinach. This spinach really adds an extra little layer of flavor and it adds a punch of nutrients. I mean, this soup in general, spinach and broccoli, they are 2 of the healthiest vegetables you can possibly eat, mainly because they're loaded with all sorts of nutrients, plus fiber and protein. Stir this all together, looking really glorious. And all you're doing here is wilting down the spinach. The goal is just to cook the broccoli for about 3 minutes or so. It'll be a nice bright green color when it's ready to go, and all of the spinach will be wilted. It's looking pretty good, nice bright green. This broccoli has started to soften a little bit, which is what we want. So now we can add the liquid. About 2½ cups. You can do vegetable broth or just plain old water. Either way, this soup is gonna be amazing. Just gonna bring this liquid to a boil and then it's ready to transfer to our blender. While we're waiting, let's make our buttered toast croutons. A couple pieces of bread. Oh, our toast is done. As you know, with toast, it's always best to butter it right away to make sure that that butter melts while it's still warm. I actually use a non-dairy butter, but I only use a tiny little bit because even the non-dairy butters are loaded with saturated fat. So we just go super light, just enough to get that nice buttery little taste on there. Cut it into croutons. Not the prettiest chopping job I've ever done, but we'll just call it rustic, right? Now we just need to transfer into our blender. Using a ladle is pretty much the only way to do this without burning yourself. Pour that last little bit of liquid in there. It's okay if you splash. No one will judge. And there you go. Okay, look at how creamy and beautiful that already looks. Grab our little bowl. Just pour it right in. It makes about 3 big bowls or 5 cups, this recipe, and you can always double it if you want to make enough for the week. Buttered toast croutons right on top. Take a look at that. Bright green, loaded with nutrients, so satisfying. Trust me on this, this is a soup you have to try. Now, this list of ingredients might seem long or a little intimidating or even a little strange, but you just gotta trust me, it's so worth it. All of these ingredients will help you get back to your rejuvenated best self. Okay, so we're starting with 1 cup of brewed dandelion root tea into our blender. You always wanna start with your liquids anytime you blend anything. It makes the blending process so much smoother and easier. Next, 1 cup of water. Next, we're gonna raid the frozen produce section of our grocery store by picking up some frozen pineapple. You can also use fresh. I like using frozen. Half a cup. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Throw those in, adds great flavor as well. Half a cup of frozen cranberries. Believe it or not, you can find these year round, not just at Thanksgiving. Next, we want frozen asparagus. Just grab about 4 or 5 spears, break them up. You can usually find frozen asparagus in any grocery store. Next, we want a frozen banana. I peel and freeze these so that they're ready to go anytime I want to make a shake. Throw that in. It's actually looking really beautiful, don't you think? Handful of parsley. Fantastic for detoxifying. And actually a pretty mild flavor when compared to all these other ingredients. You'll be surprised. The last ingredient, 2 pitted dates. Now this is actually an optional ingredient. It doesn't really detoxify, it just helps with the flavor. But I love dates. They're loaded with minerals and fiber and they're so delicious. That's it, it's ready to go. Hey, we're filming. Do you want to come join me?
I'd love to come join you.
Okay, this is the post-party detox shake.
Oh, I need that after last night.
Uh-oh, what'd you do last night?
You went to bed early.
All right, I have a cup ready to go with a nice pink straw for you.
Thank you.
Let me move some of
She
this
always
stuff
gives me
away.
the pink straw.
You like it.
I do. I love fuchsia. I know you've already told everybody what's in it, and I have no idea.
Yes, but
Is it gonna taste like medicine?
you've actually had this before and you liked it. You just didn't know what it was. I just handed it to you.
Because I was drunk?
No, because you trust me and you love me.
Oh, that's refreshing and delicious.
Are you just saying that for the camera?
No, it's really good. So what is this supposed to do?
It helps to detoxify the body and help you rid excess bloat, water retention after having a big meal or vacation or night out or maybe just drinks.
Are you saying that after I have a drink, I have excess bloat the next morning?
Yeah, most of us do. You know, I haven't tried this yet. I'm dying to try it. Can I try it? I just want to, all right, I'll just.
No, here,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right, give it a stir.
See?
That's pretty tasty. I like
It's
it.
not missing anything, is it?
Now, that pineapple really adds a nice punch.
Yep.
And the banana adds a nice creaminess. There's definitely an herbal thing going on. I think it's from that dandelion root tea.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we use dandelion root tea too. That really helps
Why did
shed
you
the
use
excess water.
Oh,
It's known for that.
dandelion root tea sheds excess water.
In fact, when I was a fitness competitor, I used to drink dandelion root tea leading up to the days that I'd go on stage. It really helped tighten up, get rid of that excess water.
Because when you're a competitor, you want to shed yourself of all water so you can see the definition and the muscles and the...
Get all veiny and
Yeah.
muscular and all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
So appealing. And they're orange, and you paint yourself orange.
I know, but you stayed with me through all of that. I can't
did.
believe it. So easy. Okay, let's start with some non-dairy milk. I'm using almond today, but you can use any non-dairy milk that you like. Next, we're gonna be using one of the healthiest ingredients on the planet, which is matcha green tea. Believe it or not, matcha green tea is one of the most antioxidant-packed ingredients on the planet. It should be part of our everyday, I'm telling you. It's so good for you. So matcha green tea does contain caffeine, but it's nothing like an energy drink or coffee. It doesn't give you the jitters. It's a really, really nice, almost calming source of caffeine, if you will. It just really heightens that alertness. I love it. So we have a teaspoon of that going in, but you can always use less if you like. Next, we have some frozen pineapple. So convenient. You can definitely chop up a fresh pineapple if you like, but since I have the frozen type handy, that's what I'm using today. I also love adding pineapple to my shakes, not only for the great flavor, but also because it helps reduce bloating and water retention. A great ingredient for that. Next, we have 1 banana. Bananas, nutrient-packed, fiber, love them, but they also add a really nice creaminess to this shake. Just for some added sweetness, we have 1 pitted date going in. Dates are great for sweetening things, but they also add a little bit of extra fiber and some added nutrients as well. 2 handfuls of spinach going in, another one of the healthiest foods on the planet. And then lastly, we have about 6 to 8 ice cubes. And that's it. All we do now is blend. All right, once all the ingredients are completely smooth and you don't see any hints of dates floating around in there, that means that your shake is done. Look at that, my nails match my shake. That's what happens when you let your 3-year-old pick out your nail color. Okay, this actually makes 2 servings or 1 large one. All right, so beautiful. I can smell that pineapple, the banana. Hey, and a little secret, green tea actually helps with weight loss. It's a fantastic drink, I'm telling you, green tea. Every day of your life, so good. Mint matcha lattes are delicious because they have that nice freshness from the mint, but also that warm almond milk is really soothing. It almost feels like a little bit of a snack because of the ingredients that are involved too. So you get the nice alertness from the matcha green tea, but then you also get the warmth and also the nutrients from the drink itself. Taking 2 minutes to put this together in the morning could really set your day on track. As I mentioned in a previous video titled The Healthiest Drink on the Planet, matcha green tea is one of the healthiest drinks there is. It has 5 times the antioxidants than any other tea there is. That means it helps fight cancer, it keeps you healthy, keeps that immune system nice and strong. I simply love matcha green tea, and this latte is really, really tasty. And wait till you see how easy it is to put together. Now you start with some warmed up almond milk. For a shortcut, of course, you can put some almond milk in the microwave, no problem, but I happen to just throw some in a saucepan to get it nice and toasty and ready for us. This is just 12 ounces of hot almond milk, and of course you can use any other non-dairy milk of your choice. Next, we want that matcha green tea. You can usually find matcha green tea in the tea section of your grocery store, but of course Amazon.com carries it as well. If you pop on audreydunham.com, I provide a link to my favorite brand of matcha green tea. You just need about a teaspoon or so, but you can always add more or less. When it comes to tea, you usually always want to try and get organic if you can, because those tea leaves really soak up those pesticides. Now next, you want about 18 to 20 fresh mint leaves like you see here. I grow it in the backyard, so it's super easy for me to get it. You can also find it in the herb section of your grocery store, which is usually the produce section. But if you want a shortcut, you can just add 1 or 2 drops of peppermint extract. You want to go light on that stuff because it's pretty strong. Next, we need some sort of sweetener. I'm doing 2 dates today, but if you want to make it sugar-free, you can do stevia or you can do monk fruit. I feel like having a nice sweet one, so I'm going to do 2 dates, but you can do just 1 if you want. All right, make sure you pull out that pit. Going in the blender. Now, I grabbed some fresh spinach just like this, and I add that to the mix as well. I like adding spinach to this drink because you get some extra nutrients, extra fiber, but it also adds some extra green to the drink. You'll see, it's this nice, bright, vibrant, fun colored drink. I love it. All right, we're ready to blend. All right, and that is it. You can really smell that mint. It smells so fresh and amazing. Blending it makes it nice and frothy, just like a latte you'd get in a restaurant or a coffee shop. What a way to start your day. And you get all those health benefits from the matcha green tea itself and the spinach leaves. Now I have to say, if you're serving this for a friend and you want to get super fancy, you can take a little mint sprig just like this and just lay it on the side of the glass. And it kind of gives a little bit of a preview as to what flavors people can enjoy with this drink. Totally optional, but I kind of like it. Regardless, this drink is magical. So soothing and comforting and delicious and fresh because of that mint. I really love it. I think that you'll love it too. Now the first thing you want to do is start by making those croutons. You want to take 4 slices of bread, chop them into about 1-inch pieces like I have already. Once your bread is all chopped up, you want to drizzle it all with about a tablespoon or so of oil. Nice easy way to create your own croutons, and trust me, they are much better when you make them yourself. You don't want any of those store-bought croutons unless you're really in a jam or unless you have a really trusted brand that you buy. From here, we want to make them salted in sage. So we're going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt right across the top evenly, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. If you have freshly ground black pepper, even better, right? And then of course we want to add that sage. You want about a 1/2 teaspoon or so, but I just evenly sprinkle it right across the top, just like that. Before they go into the oven, mix it one last time, make sure all the spices and salt and pepper gets evenly distributed, and that's it. Go right into the oven. I already have my oven piping hot, 375 degrees. They're gonna go in there until the edges are nice and brown and crispy. Now let's start on the soup. So, since it's butternut squash soup, of course, the key ingredient is butternut squash. It's actually super easy to prep the butternut squash from scratch. I have the full instructions on how to do that on audreydunham.com when you do a search for butternut squash soup. But today I'm gonna show you the shortcut version, frozen butternut squash squares. Pre-chopped, pre-everything. just good to go. I just put it into a bowl and microwave for about 8 minutes until it's piping hot. Just pile all that butternut squash into your blender just like this, about 30 ounces of frozen butternut squash that I'm using here. All right, we have 4 more ingredients to add, starting with our low sodium vegetable broth. 3 cups going in, just 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup. Lastly, we have some salt, 1.5 teaspoons, and that's it. All right, the key is to get this completely smooth. Alternatively, you can definitely put this in a pot on the stove, warm it through, and use an immersion blender to blend it all through. Either way, you want it smooth. Now at this point, you want to give it a little sample to make sure the salt level is on point, everything's tasting good. That's delicious. So let's pour this up. I like getting creative with my little soup bowls. It really makes the presentation feel so special. Just like that. Take some dried cranberries just like this. Okay, and the last ingredient are those salted sage croutons. I always think it's a good idea to try one to see if you think that they're crunchy enough. Did you hear that crunch? They're ready. Just take a little handful just like this. Top it right on top. I think when you serve these homemade croutons to your friends and family, they can really tell that they're homemade. It makes them feel even more special. And I have to say, this is all ready to go as is. Delicious, fantastic. But if you want to take it to that next level of autumn-inspired amazingness, there's one last little topping you can add, which is just a little tiny pinch of ground nutmeg just to the top, like this. Smells amazing. Got a little bit of the crouton, the cranberry. That's so good. These are the type of recipes you should have on hand. Super fast, just simple ingredients, so easy to do, doesn't require any special skills. I love this soup recipe. I really hope that you love it too. If you decide to try this recipe, please let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to know. And if you'd like to catch any of more of my recipe videos or some tips and tricks in the kitchen, you can click right here and see more. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe by clicking right here. And if you'd like to get instant notifications anytime that I post a new video, be sure to click that bell. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.